Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for K.G.F. Part 1. I will be doing Part 2 a little bit later in the week, but for now, let's jump in. In the 1970s, a gangster goes undercover as a slave to assassinate the owner of a notorious gold mine. So that IMDb synopsis is really misleading because you don't get that part of the storyline until probably an hour and 45 minutes into this. First, the story has to kind of set up the political crime nature that is going on within this film, and it spends a long time showcasing that. I actually thought the better part of this film was at the beginning, where he showcases our protagonist, this Rocky, this young child, and what he has to go through just living on the streets in poverty, living with his mom, but his mom having a real influence on his life later on by the words of wisdom that she speaks into his life. So that basically shapes the person that he becomes. So that later on, when he becomes this big name, everybody knows Rocky, you understand and you feel that there's weight to it. And I think the story is very interesting. You know, that whole kind of topsy-turvy relationship that we've gone through in the ages, doesn't matter what culture you're in, with slavery, when the poor get poorer and the rich get richer, that it kind of shines a light. It kind of has all these themes in the presence, but we're also following kind of the dons who control these big parts of the city. There's always somebody that wants to be the head, and so we follow Rocky as he rises. He has aspirations of his own. The thing is, there's no real good guy in this. There's just like selections of bad guys. Even Rocky himself really isn't good, I guess, until we get to that kind of slavery moment 3/4 of the way through the film, or just after halfway. And that for me was when the film got interesting more in the story again. The thing that detracts from this film, that I'm surprised that people loved it as much as they did, was the editing style and the choice of how to shoot an action scene. So basically they've taken fantastic action sequences, they've choreographed it, they've spent budget in it, the cinematography is excellent, and then they chop it. So you have all these camera angles that are snapping in and out of each other, contra zooms, quick fast zooms in and out. And what ends up being is you are trying to focus on these action sequences, and if you don't speak the language, you're reading the subtitles, and the subtitles are flying by on screen because they're speaking so quickly. So you're trying to read as much as you can really quickly. You do get used to it, but then you get those fast cutting sequences and you can't follow what's going on, which I felt was a real shame, because what you're seeing on screen is often brutal, really violent, but also very creative, and you really want to see what's going on. And then you have fade to black. And I was like, wow, it's a weird mixture, because you have slow-mo, fade to black, and quick cuts. And it just puts like a puzzle piece, and your mind is trying to kind of figure out what's going on screen. And I felt that was a shame, because I thought the acting that was on there was great. The story is there, and it's got some weight to it. And talking about weight, our main character, Rocky, his very good presence on screen. When he walks and does that slow-mo stuff, and you know something's about to go down, and you have a big smile on your face, because like, you're in for it now. You shouldn't have messed with Rocky. It's a great character that has great presence, and you can only do that if you have an actor that has that presence. Your score and your music and your costume design, your set pieces, all of that create to help, I guess, imbue the presence of the character that's on screen, but your actor has to have that first and foremost, and I think this guy does. He has it in buckets and spade. I'm really looking forward to part 2, because I hear that's better, but I'm hoping the kind of editing style maybe has shifted so that we can see more of it. Because the last thing I want to be is reminded of the editing style of the Transformers movie, where you're so close to the action and so fast cutting that you can't see what's going on. So I'm going to give this 2.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5, down the middle. Good story, good cinematography, good acting, but the editing style and pace of that wasn't quite what I wanted. It was slow, and I did feel the time. I think we could have cut some of that. But that's from me, from outside of the culture, from me looking in from here in the UK. So let me know if you loved it and tell me why. Look out for my other recent reviews like Beast. It should be on there now. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.